if he was on leave or whatever. So back to you again.
Okay. All right. I've just got some points here that he's thrown out for me. The elimination of a deputy. This in turn would mean. This in turn would eventually come down to the point where we would have to contract out through an outside vendor to do parcel reviews instead of doing it in-house. As it stands right now, when we do it in-house, you can say that the salary is $24,000. Now that's not including benefits or anything, so $24,000 base salary. Last contract that we set up, if you did that through an outside vendor, you're looking at $80,000 a year. And that's not an in-depth review of each parcel. That is a pull up to the parcel, look, if there are no visible signs of additions or subtractions to buildings, then you check off the card, go on. So, I mean, that's not a in-depth boots on the ground per se look. If you did happen to eliminate a deputy, which in this case, me and Jason are the ones paid out of county general, so that would be my position. And by statute, the way statute reads is for the assessor to be elected or to have that job, they're supposed to be a level 3. As of right now, there's only 2 level 3s in the county, and that's me and Josh Anderson. I don't think he would want to take about a $30,000 a year pay cut to do that job, but that's not my decision to make for him. But as of right now, if something were to happen to Jason, I'm really the only one that's qualified to do that job. So that's just a point to make out there too. There was some questions about our conference costs and registration fees. In our office, our office is kind of unique because we have to have certifications from the state. If you're going to place values on a piece of property, you have to be, at this point, a level 2 certified assessor. To maintain that certification, you have to have 45 hours of continuing education in 2 years. The way we look at this is that our conference registration, which is a spring, a summer and a winter conference, the registration cost per employee is per attendee, $225 per. If you looked at sending individuals to IAAO classes, which is what would qualify for the continuing education, you're looking at $375 per employee. So we look at the conference, using the conference to get our continuing education as a cheaper alternative.
Does that figure include hotel and mileage?
We don't get mileage. I mean, we don't if we drive the car, our county car up there. So we don't get mileage for that. That's already paid for. The 225, yes, is including
your hotel.
Well, I'm not for sure on that. That's something I'm not positive about. Now to say that, I'm not sure. I know that's the registration. There was some questions about our office being closed during conference, and I want to point out that we used our floater. Jackie was in our office every day. She may have closed when she left for lunch, and she did leave at 3 o'clock on that Friday. That was prearranged with Jason because she had to take her son to a doctor's appointment. So she did leave at 3 o'clock Friday. But other than that, there was somebody in the office at the whole time. She folded mobile home notices and personal property. is what she was doing, and answering phones, doing deeds, everything that went through, and apparently there was no issues with anything, because when we came back, there was no papers left for anybody to work on. So she handled it. The option of transferring deputies to reassessment brings up two things. The first one is if you eliminate a deputy and you only leave the assessor in office, the State Board of Accounts is going to look at that as one person running the office. And it has been brought up that that is likely to be looked at as an audit. Second thing is, if you put another deputy in reassessment, you're stretching putting a deputy in to look at another audit. And it's from what I understand, it's the auditors and council that would get audited. So that's just another thought. I do have copies of the budget that he sent with me, and we have cut our budget 48% since 2008. Reassessment had been at over 400,000, and now it's at two something. So, I mean, we've cut our budget down to 48%. There are some line items that have been highlighted to look at that come out of county general. The first would be office supplies of $5,000. We are willing to give up some of that, but we do need to keep enough in there to maintain a day-to-day operation. So I mean, it can't be zero, but it could have some out of it.
How much?
I don't know if I would want to say exactly,
Okay.
because I honestly don't have that much dealings with this stuff, and I apologize for that. Travel and dues. Travel, dues, and schooling were supposed to be the same thing. He said that if there was some that needed to be taken out of it, that would be fine. Just can't go too low on those, because I mean this has already been cut down over the years to basically get by with this stuff. I know we've brought up some stuff about the contracting part. If we did a contract to look at these parcels, they take a specific area that has to be redone with the cyclical or rolling reassessment that the state's mandating now. So they're going to take 25% of the county to look at. They're going to pick an area. It's not going to be, check over here, over here, over here. It's going to be, we're looking in Brown Township this month. Next month we're looking here. There has been a lot of turkey barns that we have added here recently. That is a huge, huge tax base. Unfortunately, they don't have to apply for permits, and we don't catch those unless we have somebody out there that drives by, sees it, or have an owner come in and report something. I mean, we don't get that. So we have added. I think we ran just a check using this year's rates. It was $58,000 worth of tax that we would have missed if we didn't have somebody out there looking.
How often do you do aerial flyovers and they're reviewed?
Every other year.
Every other year?
Every other year.
Okay.
2 years is in our contract with pictometry.
When you made that comment in there, and I know there's been some construction, of course, I'll put my plan commission hat on right now. I talked to Jason about this, you know, trying to get building permits where it activates the system.
Correct.
And your thoughts?
What I've been told from owners is that if the planning commission sets up, here's the guidelines, we'll build under it. So if you set it up to where you're gonna catch 3 house operations, they'll build 2. They're gonna, then I've heard that from several owners, that go ahead and do it, because they'll just build under it. And I mean, I'm not saying that that's just from the owner. That's what they're gonna do. So you're gonna be constantly chasing. So you're gonna miss stuff. You're gonna miss stuff for a year, then you get your flight, you get your pictures, then you add it on, it's already past the assessment date, so you miss it, you basically miss it for 2 years.
Okay. Question?
Can we not go back 3 years, even if we miss that?
Our stance has always been, if we catch it, we go current. It's always an option to go back 3 years. We've never done that due to the fact of, I mean, they're not going to be happy to start with. And when you tell them that, well, we're going to go back 3 years on it, I mean, usually you tell them, usually you use that for a last resort. I mean, you try to do current as you can, and then if they come in and complain about it, we tell them, well, look, here's the option. I mean, we're accepting that we didn't catch it in time. You knew it was there but didn't say anything, so we're both at fault. So let's just go current and go on, but it is an option to go back 3 years.
Okay.
I'm sorry for being so brief. I just kind of
Well,
got this
no, that's
information
fine.
yesterday, and you know, he said if you needed any more questions, you could call him or let him.
Currently, right now, you're the level 3.
Mhm.
Okay. And Jason's not?
Jason's not. He still has one more class, which I'm saying. I mean, he should not have any problems attaining that by the due date. But I was just stretching your point. As of today,
Okay.
if something happened,
So there's nobody else in reassessment either that's
not level 3. There is level 2s.
Level 2s?
Mhm.
Okay.
Because they do assign values to property and data entry, so they have to.
Well, what I was presenting out, you know, for the shortfall in the office, whenever there's some circumstances where people have to be out, you know, for the short term, not long term, but the person from down the basement come up and help, maybe even do some of their work upstairs so that that office is manned.
Yeah, if we're there, if everybody's there, but like I said, you got Peggy, I don't know how much longer she's gonna work. You know, Susan, everybody kind of has their specialized areas, and, we do all fill in with each other.
Okay? All right, any other questions from the council?
So what was the final tally on what you said you could give up as far as,
Can you give a specific number?
I would hate to give a specific number without talking to him. He just told me
You mentioned something
that these
like that.
numbers
I
are,
thought they'd already been cut. That's the reason I asked.
he just said
Mentioned
to make
office
sure.
supplies, guys, you've already cut it to $5,000. I mean, that's $96 a week on a $52 a week. If he says he's gotta have some amount of money to maintain an office, you
Right.
can't maintain an office.
And
Too much more for paper and pens than
If we
$5,000.
look into throwing everybody's budget stuff into a bulk thing,
Right.
you could cut that down.
Please get $2,000 in supplies and reassessment, so I imagine it could cut.
Well, I thought it was 5, but.
And we-
Well,
we
it's
use
5
that.
under the
Big cut.
assessor's budget.
And we have saved a lot on supplies because we do print our own forms and stuff now. We don't order as many forms out as we used to
Your reassessment.
through the state. Because they'll make their forms. Well, now, since everything is online or with the systems we use are available, we can order paper. We'll just order colored paper that we need to print our own forms. And then, it saves our money. We only print the amount we need instead of buying boxes. We don't have to buy a box and only use a third of the box. So we have saved a lot on forms and paper, but we do spike a couple times a year printing mobile home notices, personal property notices, things of that matter. And then during tax time, usually it's the treasurer's office, the assessor's office, the treasurer's office, the assessor's office. So
All right, any other questions? Rhonda?
So do you still use the Allegra Printing, you know, the company that Mr. Bills works for, to do a lot of your printing? Do you still do that?
I don't do the budget part of it. I don't know when we order, if it gets ordered through there, I don't know.
Okay.
All right.
Does the county car still, the county car that you bought out of the miscellaneous budget in 1210, is that accessible to the rest of the boards or the rest of the departments? Or is it just you guys that have that car?
We use it every day.
It's just assessors, they're the ones
Yeah,
that
bought it
purchase
out of our budget.
But I mean,
Oh,
nobody's
Isn't
ever
there
asked.
still the county van?
Yeah, we still have the county.
County van, and anybody can use it.
And we use ours every day. I don't know who else would use it.
The one that was purchased out of
It's
the miscellaneous
used by our office
budget.
every day.
Miscellaneous budget.
It was purchased at a reassessment.
It was purchased out of the miscellaneous budget.
We
It was
don't have a
purchased out of the
miscellaneous
budget.
budget. We don't have a miscellaneous budget.
No, for the assessor.
It's out of the reassessment.
Reassessment.
Maybe
Miscellaneous.
miscellaneous expenses,
Yeah,
but it's still reassessment.
okay.
That would be there.
All right. Anyway, we're doing this for information gathering, you know, to make a decision and then trying to get an atmosphere of the offices and where they're at and stuff. Of course, you know, as far as personnel cuts, it's unpopular.
Sure.
And that, and I understand that, but we're looking at all kinds of avenues. And I'm glad that the offices are working together and talking together, you know, as far as trying to come up some. So thank you very much. We have got next a surveyor and extension. I don't see them right now, and we're ahead of schedule a little bit. I'll look for about a 5-minute recess.
Doing fine.